butterfly and he's like holding it up.
Is this
All I can I'm like, is this good League of Legends? That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Peak League of Legends.
Is this peak League of Legends? I mean, like, So first things first, I have to address that the response from G2 was the correct one. Immediately sending all your players bot to dive Finn was the right play. And the repeat dive is also correct because the goal is to shut that top laner down, which is what Rogue were planning on doing. If Wonder had stayed top, they would have dove him and then they would have been behind. And this is why you don't typically swap, because you can then dive bot, you can take the plates faster, and ultimately you can be punished. So I think everything that G2 did in decision-making wise was correct. Execution, though, was a little bit faulty. The fact that Wonder took tower aggro, that's not what they wanted to happen. The fact that they couldn't quite kill Finn fast enough, the fact that they lost the minion wave, clearly you can see some rust in terms of the execution of the lane swap. But again, I think the idea behind it was correct. The execution was just faulty. Now Rogue are doubling down on this lane swap. They want to try and keep Hans Sama and Vander out of this 2 versus 2 lane. And again, can we just quickly go back to the gold one more time, observers? Because I want to see the difference between the top laners and the AD carries and see who has been struggling, where they've actually been falling behind. As
we might have to wait for the fight. Hans Sama flashes forward. They get the root. Vander going in with the dredge line as well, but a good death's grasp from Wonder. We'll get him back underneath this tower. Vander's trying to do what he can on Sama. Will be able to go in, but the chakrams aren't quite enough. Vander almost dies. And that is an impeccable escape from Wonder in the top lane.
Wow, I'm actually impressed that Wonder was able to get out of that situation. But Rogue continued to attack Wonder. They're doing everything in their power to put him behind. But it seems to me like the game is still very even. So even after all of Rogue's early game shenanigans, it hasn't resulted in any significant advantage for the time being. They do have a comfortable little freeze down here in the bot lane. And that top wave is also going to bounce back in favor of Rogue as well. So Wonder's just going to be losing a lot of farm, and you can see in the levels, Medic. Level 4 to level 6. Wonder in the XP department has definitely been put behind.
I do like the way he said, guys, I know what's happening to me this game. I am going to get forced out of lane repeatedly, and I'm going to have to get back there as quickly as possible. Yeah, got himself the Swifties.
Look at the XP there. You can see Wonder at the same level as Vander right now, even behind Jankos and Mickey. And he's doing everything in his power to catch back up. So if Rogue's game plan was to put Wonder behind, they've definitely done a good job of that for the time being. And Finn, even though he is at 2 deaths, he's actually been able to secure himself a kill after all that chaos as well. So game's slowing down just a little bit now. The lanes are returning to normality. And we can see Inspired hovering around the bot side of the map right now. No flash available on Perks, no flash on Mickey. A good hook hit from Vander could result in a successful game for Rogue.
So Larson was spotted out roaming by Jankos, who's coming down with caps to try and cut off Inspired. Now Inspired could go for the Rift Scuttler, but instead leaves it alone for Jankos. Perks now hit level 6, does have that ultimate and might be needed to help out Wonder in the top lane, who's losing to Finn. Finn has already used his ult. He flashes forward, trying to kill off the Mord here. Decimating Smash will land, but there's the shield. The Dawning Shadow will save Wonder.
Coming in clutch there from Perks. Just barely keeping him alive. They do get the flash out from Finn as well, who is very close to finding that kill, but the wave state is not good, and now Inspired Hex flashing bot.
He's going to have the Nimbus Cloak as well for the chase. The Face Breaker will be available to him, and Perks doesn't really have anywhere to go. Face Breaker pulls him back. Jankos jumping in, looking for Hans Sama. The exhaust has gone down, and Jankos might be able to get just that one more auto off. Can't quite do it in the end. Hans Sama goes down, but the Felios gets a double, and G2 only get 1.
So Rogue continuing to come out ahead in these early skirmishes. As we look over to the gold, you can see that Hans Sama now with the advantage even after his death, and the top lane a 1k gold difference. Some crazy stuff has been happening in this early game, and Wonder will finally get his hands on some farm. We wanted to talk about the mid lane matchup, but we haven't even been able to look at mid lane this game due to all the chaos that has been happening in the early stages. We can see that Cap's a little bit behind Larson, Mr. Consistent there from Rogue, doing a good job in the 1 versus 1. Whew. Let's try and take stock of the situation, Medic.
Yeah, you can see 9 minutes in, it's about a 500 to 700 gold lead for Rogue. They were able to get 2 plates in the top lane before they came back down towards the bottom.
Swapped again.
And they have swapped again. So when, as we say, 9.5 minutes in, they could be playing for the Rift Herald here. There's only a Cloud Drake. However, Rift Herald against the Bard, to me, always feels a little bit sketchy because Bard can mitigate all of the damage the Rift Herald does.
True. It's a good point there, Medic. And I think the goal from Rogue is to funnel as much gold onto Hans Sama as possible. Yep. It feels to me like they're playing for him this game. I think one of the interesting thing about G2's comp is that I wouldn't say that it's super short range. Whenever you look at a Senna, her range obviously gets ridiculous later into the game. Syndra's ability to stun you from afar and burst you is obviously very potent, but the Kha'Zix wants to dive on your face. Mordekaiser needs to be in melee range, which naturally makes the game a lot easier for Aphelios rather. So the stronger he is, the earlier he is. In theory, the easier these team fights should be as well. And I think that when we look at Rogue's comp holistically, it is a very standard front-to-back team fight. Very much what we come to expect from this Rogue roster. And G2, I think one of the big things for them was trying to gain advantages with this mid-jungle duo, trying to leverage the fact that they have a strong 2 versus 2 in the bot lane to try and get some advantages in the bot side of the map. But due to all the chaos, G2 haven't been able to play through their early game whatsoever, and Rogue have been able to heavily mitigate that. Now they've entered the mid game in a very comfortable state, and now they're looking for a kill onto Perkz.
Hansama and Vander just waiting in the wings here. Hansama goes forward with the Graviton. There's the root. Perkz pops the stopwatch. Last Embrace coming out as well, and the rest of Rogue are here for the fight. Perkz goes down first. Double TP popped, but here come all of Rogue. They are a nation unto themselves. Wonder shuffled back. He's going to fall as well as Larsen's locked in a pit with him, I believe. The showstopper, though, is going to bring back one more. Caps dies, Wonder dies, Perkz dies, and now the Rift Herald goes down in the top lane. And Mickey does have the Tempered Fate, but will not throw... Oh, there we are, he will. I should have really predicted him throwing that, let's be honest. Ah, he did it too early!
He mistimed it!
Story of G2 split right there. I think it's a fitting metaphor.
Have done such a fantastic job of punishing G2 here. They catch Perkz off guard. Mickey was not there to help defend his AD carry. Perkz used both summoner spells, still ends up dropping, and we should see another fight. But they're not going to commit to it. So Rogue walk away as the victors, and now the early game gold lead has ballooned in their favor. 3,000 is the advantage that they're currently sitting on. G2 are in a very desperate situation. So to me, it seems that they're aware of something going on. They're a little uncomfortable about the lane state. They know that Hansama and Vander are missing, and Jankos is kind of lying in wait. They also have stopwatch. So the moment this comes out, immediate stopwatch from Perkz. The things that make this difficult is Inspired also shows up, turning this into a 3 versus 2. And the ultimate comes through from Hansar along with a good hook from Vander to just burst him out. And then with the TPs coming through, obviously, G2's now in this position where they're at a numbers disadvantage, not just by one, but actually by 2. And a really good flash E there from Inspired to lock Caps down as well. Means that Rogue get absolutely everything, and now Wonder's in danger once again.
Rooted up, he has been a punching bag for Rogue this game, and the Ignite ticks away. Wonder goes down for the 3rd time, and Rogue are so far ahead. Reminder, guys, they get playoffs. They lock playoffs with a win here against G2, and G2, they'll really want to win to tie up with Excel and Origin, because if they lose, they're no longer in the top 6 spots in our league.
Well, they certainly aren't. Larsen comes in with the ultimate flash from Caps.
Jankos trying to do what he can to get some isolation damage off here, but Finn is very tanky. Larsen flashes away. The Decimating Flash won't land the knockup. Here's the Dawning Shadow, and Jankos jumps into the shield. 4th kill of the game for G2.
So G2 do get something back, but as you rightly said, the stakes of this game are paramount as Mickey now on his way bot, but here comes Inspired as well.
Inspired coming in from behind. The Temper Fate will lock them both up. Vander able to tank up the tower for as long as he wants. The base break. Perkz just steps back forward into that. It felt like he was safe. It felt like he was out, and then instead just didn't respect the damage from Rogue. Caps has a good flank position here, but Hansama does have the Chakrams and the Calibrum. So it's pretty hard to trade onto him.
It feels like Rogue are not slowing this game down whatsoever. Every opportunity they see to play around Hansama and Vander, they are taking it. And they punish Mickey and Perkz once again. Perkz, you know, we talk about how Wonder's kind of been the punching bag, but Perkz is now kind of the focus from Rogue as they continuously throw threat after threat in his direction. And G2 are just falling further and further behind. You talk about the stakes of this game, Medic. Rogue will lock a spot in playoffs with this win, and G2, as you rightly said, will move out of that top 6 position. That race for playoffs becomes so much harder for them, especially with Fnatic getting such a big win against Origin earlier. SK also getting that win against Mad. Things are just looking harder and harder for G2, and that question around will they make playoffs? You know, for many people it was kind of like, of course they will. It's G2, how could this ever happen? Like, surely they'll bounce back, but when you have a 7-0 record against Rogue, and now they're turning around and they're absolutely smashing you, Like, alarm bells have to start ringing.
100%. Totally agree with you. We'll have another look at this play in the mid lane.
So this is just a gank trying to be set up by Larssen with Finn on the flank. Jankos comes in with his stealth to do a lot of damage onto Larssen. He's pretty much just soloing Larssen out there, and then the ultimate comes from across the map from Perks to actually just lock that kill down. Jankos just diving in to make sure that that one is secure. Does commit his flash, but ultimately still worth it in the end. Even though G2 secured that kill, they're still 6 kills down overall. They're 4.5k gold behind. You can see that Hans Sama is at 7.5k gold. That is one really fed Aphelios. 200 years is going to come very soon.
He's got a time machine this game. 1,800 gold ahead of Perks.
Poor Wonder, man. He has less gold than Vander does.
Yeah. I mean, he's currently got Swifty boots and a blasting wand.
Yep.
And, you know, a ruby crystal and amplifying tome. Like, he is so far behind this game. G2 was so far behind. 4,000 gold in the hole. And here comes the Hex Flash from Inspired. Looking for Caps. The Smite goes down. They know he's got no flash, but the Face Breaker doesn't quite connect. There's the hook with the Dredge Line. Caps in the Tempered Fate. The Sentry's going to go down. And there's the Showstopper. Pull Caps back. Hansama gets one. Jankos tried to jump in, but he just can't kill this Aphelios right now. And the chase is on here for Rogue. Jankos will try and isolate Hansama if he can. May just try and sneak his way through the jungle, but Larssen shuffles forward. Inspired flashes over, and Jankos goes splat in the jungle.
Yep, another 2 quick kills picked up for Rogue and Caps. Little he could do from that collapse that came out from Inspired. This man has been everywhere this game. Involved in 10 of the 12 kills that they have been able to find. The highest kill participation on the side of Rogue. And you kind of have to... Well, it's that thing where you have to talk a lot more about Rogue right now, you know, because we talked about how they are this forgotten first-place team. They have been tied with Mad Lions for the entirety of this split, yet it seems to me that the sentiment around them has always been, well, they're predictable, they're beatable, like, Rogue isn't that impressive, like, sure, you can say what you want about G2, but Rogue just lane swapped, and now that they are just like, they're dominating in every single fight. Their positioning has been great, and often we talk about Larssen being that consistent. Well, Hans Sama has also been stepping up this split. I mean, this bot lane in its entirety, and now he has a huge gold advantage over literally everyone in this game. He's set up to carry. 2 items are done at 17 minutes, Medic.
Pretty early.
Aphelios was already strong as a champion. Like, now give him 2 items. Oh man, this is terrifying for G2.
Talking about the items, I want to just point out the specific adaptation he's made for this game. A lot of the times you see Infinity Edge into Runeans on an Aphelios. Here he said, give me the Phantom Dancer, give me a little bit of a shield from the burst that can come out from a Syndra, from a Kha'Zix. Just has that little bit more protection as we see Jankos steal away the red buff. But I do want to come back to that point about Rogue and them not being seen as a top team, because I think a lot of people looked at it and said, well, you lost to Mad Lions, you lost to G2, you're not as good as them right now, or at least not as good as Mad Lions. But with such a convincing victory over G2 and playing Mad Lions, I believe next week, we could start to see, week after next, we could start to see Rogue really solidify themselves as the best team in the league.
I mean, the big thing for Rogue has been consistently this, but I think that they've put up a strong performance in every single game.
Yep.
I think their players are performing very well week on week, and it's just been about, can you keep evolving, can you keep developing, and then today they showed us a lane swap.
Yep.
So I'm really excited to see what else they can show us, as that Tempered Fate will mitigate that engage from the Rift Herald. And now they still have to close, of course. This is an uphill battle for G2, and I think that Rogue, with their composition, with the fact that Hansama is so strong, with the fact that Baron is going to be the biggest point of contention that I think G2's comp is not set up for, it's going to be very difficult for G2 to come back from this, but not impossible. So now the question is, how cleanly can Rogue close this one out and put themselves in first place at the end of Week 6?
They would have sole possession of it. They did just give up an Infernal Dragon for the Rift Herald charging in the top lane to get their that tier 2. They now have their 4th tower of the game, 5,000 gold lead still for them. And Caps is just going to try and clear out the wave in the bottom lane. He's been one of the few really consistent players for G2. It's felt like he's tried to put the team on his back, especially in the Orianna game yesterday, but still hasn't quite been able to get G2 over the line.
Again, I think this whole game could have been about Caps. but it was never given the opportunity to do so, just because of all the shenanigans that happened early, and the mis-execution from G2 and how they responded to the swap ended up in disaster. Wonder fell very far behind, and while the gold wasn't actually that bad, it ultimately meant that Caps couldn't utilize the strength of Syndra in the early game, and this has given Larssen a very easy laning phase where he's just been able to scale up. He's sitting at 2-1 and 0. He hasn't been largely involved in this game, but that doesn't matter because his relevance will come a little bit later, and that's really what matters for Rogue.
Right now, they seem to be willing just to wait out the game a tad. Do want to point out the fact that Wonder has got himself a Liandry, so he's finally completed his first item. He's actually doing really well on CS, considering how much he was shut down in the early game.
He's closed the level gap too.
Yeah.
He and Finn are both at level 12, Perks and Van Handsome at level 11.
Oh, Hansama. He's shielded up with the Phantom Dancer, doesn't quite die to the Unleashed power. Larssen dodging to the side here, but Jankos going to find him isolated. He's going to dodge across the wall, and now the re-engage comes out. Jankos trying to get onto Larssen, can't quite get there in time. Finn on the front line, Hansama exhausted. Wonder stepping forward, but he's brought back with the showstopper. But Vander's low, Inspired's low, and Vander will be the first to fall. G2 find a good fight so far in this mid lane.
It was very close to being a one-sided fight for G2, where I think Wonder did a fantastic job of removing Finn. With the front line gone, G2 are like, okay, kill Hansama, kill Larssen, just kill him, and they couldn't. Of course, if they had, that would have been great, but they're going to walk away with the tower. They're going to walk away with a little bit of pressure alleviated, and it just goes to show that Rogue, they can't rest on their laurels. They're in a great position right now. They still have firm control over the game, but one small mistake, G2 is willing to pounce on it, and they're willing to look for those opportunities.
Have another look at it, because, as you say, Hansama was the first player to get caught out.
So, the control word here from G2, I think that actually blocks vision of Caps, and he then comes around the corner and tries to burst Hansama down. He mitigates a lot of that with the healing as well from his healing gun, I guess. And then here, great observation from the observers as Wonder locks out Finn, so a lot of the front line is gone. Now Vander's isolated on the back line, and Larssen's already been removed from the fight by Jankos. This means that it's a 3 versus 3, and with an exhaust onto Hansama, G2's actually feeling pretty comfortable about this because they feel they have the damage advantage, forcing Rogue to retreat.
Oh, there's an engage happening right in the middle of the game. There's a Vander just flashed across the wall and hooked Mickey, but Mickey just walks out of that. Maybe just a little bit greedy there. Perhaps Hansama wasn't able to find the Gravitum lockup with his purple gun. But G2 closed that gold gap just a little bit here, Vedius. 4,000 the difference. Trying to keep their undefeated record versus Rogue alive. And there's a dragon up in about a minute's time. Neither team anywhere near soul point. And it's going to be a mountain soul, which will help, you know, a little bit.
There's a Runans on Hansama.
Okay, he's pretty strong.
Pretty. He is insane.
He's got to hit people. Last time he didn't really get a chance to hit anyone. In
So I was watching Perks' stream, or he made a video recently, and it was titled 200 Years, and he's like, so basically Aphelios works like this. He's 50 years in lane, he's 100 years of one item, and then he's 200 years of 2 items.
Okay, so 3 items, 300 years.
Well, no, he's like prime 200 years, you know what I mean?
200 years plus.
Yeah, but basically Hansama's like really strong. He will, of course, get stronger because that's just kind of how hyper carries work in League of Legends. But the same will be said for Perks. He's now just hit the Muramana. Drake is going to be spawning very soon. G2 don't have to fight this because it's not soul point. It is only the first Mountain Drake of the game. If they don't feel comfortable, if they want to buy a little bit more time, they may even be able to trade it for a top tier 1 play, which I think would be very beneficial for Wonder to get a little bit more gold in his back pocket. And as we can see, it looks like G2 are not going to overcommit to this objective, and I think this is sensible. No need to keep forcing fights. You had a pretty good fight earlier, but that was more of an opportunity that you were able to take advantage of rather than the difference in comps. Because I think that if that was a little bit more neutral, then I think Rogue would have been able to come out on top. So G2 showcasing that respect, and Rogue showing that they are still right now the commanding force in this game.
Caps has silently snuck his way up towards 2 items. He's looking to take down Larssen, knocks him into the wall with the Scatter the Weak. He has the Unleashed power. I'm not sure Caps thought he had enough Dark Spheres down there.
If he had one more, I think he could have done it. But yeah, Larssen also very aware of that. Caps also not running the Electrocute, going for the Phase Rush, which means he will have a little bit less burst. Now, Rogue starting this one off, as you rightly said, Caps does have the TP. I imagine he's going to reset, then look for a TP. Perk's also in position, whereas Jankos has just made his way into the river. This is risky if they go for this. Tempered Fate is up for Mickey to buy a little bit more time.
Like, Finn is in the mid lane right now. The teleport's going to come out. I think Rogue are just looking for the TP, because Finn was nowhere near that for the entirety of it.
Well, they do get the TP out from Caps. Ultimate comes through from Perks.
Tempered Fate hits onto three. This could be huge. This could be huge. Caps up towards the side. Can't quite get in. Hans Summer has to burn his flash. Unstoppable onslaught from Finn will just run him through the jungle. And it felt like that could have been the moment for G2, but they couldn't find the connection.
It definitely was. Hans Summer's flash heal was 100% necessary, because if he had not used it, Caps was just, he was like lining up the shot. Do you know what I mean? Yep. He just had it in his eyes. He's like, okay, 3, 2, 1, missile locking. And he was going to look to blow Hans Summer up. If Hans Summer dies there, G2 get Baron, all of a sudden the game flips. Beautiful Tempered Fate from Mickey, but Rogue respond perfectly. They immediately flash away, get out of there, make sure that they avoid it, and while they do concede the blue buff, they concede some jungle camps. At the end of the day, Rogue's still in a very healthy position, but now the gold deficit, only 3k.
Yeah.
Medic, G2,
shrinking.
like, Rogue have slowed down the pressure. They haven't been able to find as many fights as they would like. Admittedly, that G2 not getting baited into these fights. You saw that Rogue kind of testing the waters around the Baron, saying, G2, come fight us, come challenge us. But I think G2 kind of recognizing that the game is slowing down a little bit. They do have scaling tools. Notice that Perks has got his third item and Mickey's been caught.
Oh, Mickey just flashes away into it. I feel like you could have got that hook a little bit better there. You could have lined it up with the showstopper, but good flash into the magical journey from Mickey to get himself out.
Ooh, Jankos lying in wait.
Do you win this, Jankos?
Oh yeah, he 100%. If Larson face checks this, he dies.
Betty, we're about to find out.
I promise you, Jankos wins this.
Larson face checks. Jankos looking for the win. Emperor's Divide will knock him away. He flashes forward. Larson flashes away. And we're going to call it a draw.
So,
Jankos definitely won.
Yeah, the thing about Kha'Zix's isolation damage did, of course, get buffed recently. And when you have the red smite on top of the lethality, it's just 0 armor on the side of Larson. He's 100% dead, even though there's a 2-level difference. If Jankos, I mean, so the reason why Larson got away there was because he used his E through the bush. Yeah. If he had just walked into the brush, then he would have died, because that meant that Jankos could have saved his jump, and then he would have been able to chase that one down. So Larson kind of inadvertently making the correct play to avoid losing his life there. But his flash will now be down, which could be massive later on, as Rogue are looking to gain a little bit more control around the Baron.
I have just checked in with our stats guy. Perks is sitting just over 60 stacks on this Senna, so he's got an extra 75 range. He's beginning to get to the point where he's pretty oppressive. You can see Jankos chunked out a little bit. The top tower is about to fall, as well as the minions help G2 out just a little bit. 3,000 gold between these two teams, Vedius, and from what seemed like a very strong lead for Rogue in the early game, they were like 5k up at 15 minutes. That has shrunk piece by piece, and G2 are looking more like a team that can challenge the top teams in our league.
Well, I mean,
challenge. I didn't say they can win.
I guess my problem with that statement is, right now it feels like it's just been Rogue's game, and Rogue have slowed the game down, right? And while I think the G2 have been patient, it hasn't shown a lot. Like, how this game plays out will show more to me about what G2 is capable of. I wanted to quickly show the gold.
Jankos.
He's got to be patient.
He can't get away. He's got stopwatch, he's got no flash. I'm pretty sure he's already used the jump and he's just dead.
Yep, that's a massive pick for Rogue. I keep wanting to talk about the gold because I wanted to highlight how Wonder's been able to claw this back, but it doesn't even matter now because Rogue are going to make their way straight towards the Baron. Jungler's dead. G2 have to go for this fight. Big pickup in the death cap from Caps, but will it be enough to turn this around? Rogue, 5 members strong, melting the Baron.
Unsummer on 13,000 gold, 3 items complete, and you can see Caps is going to try and steal this one away. Perk's getting locked off by Finn off towards the side, but the ward from Rogue at the back of the pit should make this pretty easy for them to secure. Tempered Fate comes out, that hits the spider. You can burst around now, Caps has to do it. Oh, Caps gets the Tempered Fate, the combo! G2, that was beautiful!
Are you kidding me? He just completes the death cap and it's Caps that steals away the Baron. Oh my word, the combo from Mickey and Caps saves the game. They're still relevant in this. That was unbelievable.
Beautiful stuff from G2. I do want to say, Rogue,
I mean, they took a gamble there.
Yeah, but they kind of all just left.
Yeah, I mean, I need that replay. I need that replay as fast as we can get it because my word. Like, you're right. Rogue should have been way more threatening in that position when they have the numbers, look to peel off. Let's have a quick look at this. Here we go. So, who's threatening the backline right now? Finn is kind of coming around the corner, but then the Tempered Fate, there's no smite available, and then Caps with the WQE combo. He was even alive!
He's back from the Tempered Fate! How much damage does Smite do at level 11? I don't think it's...
I forget. Honestly, I don't know. It was at 799, I think, that Baron HP. Wow. Okay, so Mandrake did go down in that time during the replay. Thank you for showcasing that, though, observers.
680, Betty.
680, so he was just short, even if he did smite it. Oh my god, and the fact that all of Rogue almost like peeled off it because they wanted to stop hitting it to stop Caps from securing it. Man, wow. The pieces just kind of fell apart for Rogue there.
Good stuff from G2, though. They are 3,000 gold behind. Caps is level 16. Finn's flashing forward, but can't quite find any mark that he was looking for. Perkz going to be able to get away. Here's the Unstoppable Onslaught. Perkz will flash away from it. Last Embrace is going to lock up Finn. You can see Perkz doing quite a lot of damage. Jankos has the flank position here. Not spotted on a ward. He goes in with the Void Assault. Hansama was a bit isolated, but Finn is definitely all alone here in his own jungle. Inspired's going to try and join in the fray. Stopwatch pop by Finn. Caps down towards the bottom side of the fight, can look for that knockback, hits 2 with the Scatter of the Weak. The Tempered Fate catches out the Nautilus, and now Wonders coming in from the bottom side of the battle. Doesn't land the Death's Grasp on Hansama, and G2 will just disengage.
Okay, so what summoner spells were used in that? I think the Flash was used from Inspired, Flash gone from Finn, Flash also gone from Perkz, but a lot of ultimates actually still available on both sides.
Caps hits Larson, Emperor's Divide will lock him up, but Caps takes the kill. Vander going forward here, Hansama stepping in as well. The Magical Journey just about gets Wonder to safety.
Wow. Hansama nearly carried that fight. It ended up being carry for carry. Yeah, Perkz for Larson in that exchange. Good setup initially by G2, but they're still at a deficit. They're just using this Baron to get back into this game somewhat. And you can see these fights are still very difficult. Like, Hansama is, for lack of a better term, giga-fed. Like, the man is strong. He still has a stopwatch fail. Oh, okay. I thought he was getting flanked on, but that was just Vander. Jankos looking for him. Mickey behind as well.
He's getting flanked. Hansama's in the pit here. Cosmic Binding doesn't land.
But one does not simply flank an Aphelios medic. When he has a flamethrower and chakrams, one must second guess should they wish to flank the Aphelios.
Aphelios is the entire fellowship by himself.
Yes.
He's got his bow and his sword and his death stance.
Yeah, precisely. Well, all right, so they're not going to go for that collapse. The game kind of resets. G2 is now put in a position where they have to contest the next Mountain Drake. It's going to be spawning in about 2 minutes' time, so let's have a look at the vision for both sides as Jankos tries to seal away some camps.
He's going to get smited with the Stalkers, but we'll just be able to leap away.
Okay. So yeah, I kind of want to go back to the vision. If we could quickly toggle what Rogue can see first, and then we'll go to G2. So you can see they've lost all river control right now. I'm just going to enhance the minimap so we can take a slightly closer look. And you'll see that largely they have to face check G2. Whereas if we swap over to G2, they should actually see, okay, they haven't been able to get that deep vision. They've largely been playing around the top side, which means that they need to prioritize getting control over the mid lane waves first. And notice that the bot wave is actually pushing in, which makes things a little bit harder. So Rogue not willing to concede this. As Perkz, he has no flash. I think he's dead.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's dead here as well. The Showstopper will bring him back. Tempered Fate will not save him now. And that was just a little bit greedy from Perkz. Rogue being like, well, you can set up around the dragon all you want. We're just going to force down mid. They take one turret. They're looking for more. Caps needs to get back here pretty soon because Larson and Hansama will absolutely melt these towers. Inhibitor tower now down in the middle lane. The inhibitor shortly to follow here. And Rogue just crack open the base of G2.
Yeah, excellent punish there from Rogue. They've found a lot of great picks. They found that pick onto Jankos earlier into the game. They find another clutch pick onto Perkz without his flash. This gives them full access control over G2's bot side jungle, Dragon that spawns in a minute, Baron that spawns in a minute. G2 have just lost any semblance of control that they had over the game.
Perkz is back up in about 6 seconds time, so he will be here for the dragon fight. But you can see Rogue just gained control over the area. Haven't totally swept it out. There's a ward outside the pit from G2 that hasn't been removed. There's also a flanking ward that has just expired. Sundisc put down by Larson in the mid lane to gain some control. And G2, after looking like they were beginning to come back, have started to struggle once again in this game. And you have to give credit to Rogue for constantly finding those picks, for constantly finding their marks. And now, with a win here, Rogue are looking at sole control.
Here we go.
First place. The unstoppable onslaught coming in from Finn. Larson almost taken out by Jankos. There's Dawning Shadow. Won't be able to get them with the death charge. Chasing Jankos off. Mickey has to use the magical journey away. Hans Summer still alive. He's pushing forward with the Infernum. Finn getting chunked out by Wonder in the wall flank. Vander goes down. It's all on Hans Summer and Inspired. They have to do what they can. The unleashed power onto Hans Summer. Takes him down, but he's now got 7. He can heal up. Can Avenios do Avenios things? He pops the stopwatch. Finn and Inspired are going to try and help him out, but he is done. Hans Summer's down. Shut down by G2. And G2 will take that Mountain Drake off the card.
And it was crazy how G2 were actually able to come out on top of that fight. It feels like Larson just doesn't get to play the game. Let's start by just tracking Larson in the fight. Inspired tries to find a flank, but this kind of leaves him exposed. And you can see Jankos, his eyes are like, I'm having bird for dinner, okay? All I want to do is take Larson out of the fight. Notice he's not moving yet. Here he is. Chunks him out immediately, gone. Now this is a 4 versus 5. Jankos, though, is committed to removing him completely from the fight. Meanwhile, Wonder's removing Finn. So again, you're in a situation where Vander's just soaking up this damage. They get a good hook onto Perks, but now it's all about Hans Summer versus the world. Can Rogue keep him alive? He takes a huge amount of damage from Caps' ultimate. He's doing everything that he can, but look, he's being attacked from 4 sides. Even in that situation, he gets an initial kill onto Mickey, but then this sets up Caps to line that shot. He gets the kill down. G2 come out on top, and now they secured a Baron off the back of that as well.
2.5 minutes left on the Baron buff, and you can see Wonder there. He just...
Wow, he's back in this game now, like...
God. Caps topping the damage charts as well alongside his teammate, and Hans Summer, like, Larson did nothing. Larson did less damage than either support, as you said, because he was taken out by Jankos. Huge
props to Jankos there. He knew what his responsibilities were in the fight, and he's like, you know what, I probably can't 1v1 Hans Summer. Can definitely 1v1 the chicken, right? So that's what he did. He removed him from the fight, and Larson just has not been able to play this game.
Bug types super effective versus flying, apparently in League of Legends. Here's the unstoppable onslaught from Finn trying to get into the side. The turret goes down, the Death Scar's going to pull him back as well, and Finn, like a knife through butter, he is melted by G2. And now it's a 4v5. They got Baron buff. They can push in. The waves in the side lanes aren't in the best position. Top lane wave on its way. G2 might look just to defend this cannon. And Perks must be pretty close to the point where he can outrange the turret. He's got a rapid fire cannon, I believe.
Yep. Level 16 Infinity Edge finished as well. G2, they've cracked the base. One of the big frontliners is now gone for Rogue. Will they look to end it right here, right now, Medic? This could be a huge comeback if G2 are able to win this.
Larson down to half HP and G2 are looking for the win. 19 seconds on Finn, but what a comeback it would be from losing to Schalke yesterday.
Oh, that binding!
And a great binding comes out, but Hans Summer uses the QSS to get out of it. Mickey, though, still on the front line. Hans Summer doesn't have the best of guns for this fight. And there's the Desgrads who pulls him back, and Hans Summer. Goodbye, Larson. Goodbye, Hans Summer. And welcome back to the LEC G2. They look like they have been reborn as they take down Rogue.
Rogue had such an effective game plan. They decided to go for the lane swap. They had such a convincing early game advantage, mid game advantage. But then it's like the play... The Bard plus Syndra stealing away the Baron, Jankos in these team fights, removing Larson. Like, Wonder, he had the same gold as Mickey at some point in that game. He was like basically a support, yet in the later fights, he was removing Finn. He was like the highest damage dealer. It was crazy how G2 were able to come back into that. Rogue was so close. Hans Summer, he tried so hard to carry that game, man, but it just wasn't meant to be.
It's great to see G2 back in action. Remember, you guys can vote for your Kia Player of the Game at LEC on Twitter. I'm going to wait for this to come up because our auto queue is broken. Wonder, Caps, and Mickey are your options. I have a screen here that tells me what to say most of the time I get it right. I think, like, I would personally give it to Wonder just because
I'm just going to let you guys vote. You vote. I think that all 3 of them made the plays that could have swung the game. Like, it was a crazy game. That is a fantastic way to end Week 6.
Well, I wonder what will be brought to us in Week 7. Perhaps a rendition of Wonderwall from Vedius or something that you could wonder about.
it.
Coming up next, we'll hear from Mickey before Cadel joins us in the post-game lobby. Don't go anywhere. Wonder.
And welcome back for the last interview of this 6th week of the LEC. G2 Esports finished victorious in the end, and I have Mickey with me to talk about the game. Thank you for joining me, Mickey.
Hello. Hello, thank you for having me.
That's a comeback. I mean, looking at the first few minutes, I didn't believe in it, but let's rewind a bit and talk about Rogue's draft and the fact that they lane swapped, because we know that it's a possibility with Sion, but we haven't seen this in ages. So did you expect this, and how did you react?
No, we didn't expect it because, well, we were really late to actually check on the Sion that he was doing the camps. And if I actually realized a bit earlier, I could have stopped him from doing Raptors, maybe even killed him and get like a big lead. But yeah, it was kind of unexpected. I think the last time I saw it was like at Worlds when Team Liquid did it.
Yeah.
So in theory, we could have seen it coming. And then, yeah, we butchered a dive in the bot lane. So it was looking pretty dire. But luckily, we had like a pretty good draft overall against theirs. Like, we had a Syndra, and I was playing a pretty good champion against theirs. So, yeah, and I guess we stole Nash, so that also helped us win.
Yeah, I was about to say, mentioning these first few minutes and the execution coming from your side, but also from Rogue with the teleports and everything. What's missed in your execution of this dive spot lane?
I think we just didn't communicate well enough on who is tanking and how we want to approach it, I guess. Because for the first one, I dropped aggro, and then Mordekaiser took it, and then got one-shot by 2 tower shots because I didn't stay fast enough instead of just like dropping aggro and then doing it again from the start where the turret doesn't do that much damage anymore. So I think that was like, yeah, I mean, we just got caught off guard a bit, and we didn't know how to react properly. But still, we played it like all right, I guess. They didn't get that big of a lead, but it was still like pretty huge for them. Like our top laner was like 3 levels down at some point, so it was a really rough game for him. But I think he managed it well by buying Swift and the boots like first item and just running around the map and catching waves. So yeah, props to Wunder.
Props to all of you. I mean, I had a hard time picturing you guys winning this game at all, and then some fights happened, and I want you to tell me about these steps leading to victory through the fight we're about to see, the one that led to Baron, not the one you stole, but the second one. Tell me about it.
Okay. Yeah, so here we were kind of just trying to bait Cyanode out. We were trying to contest Drake, so we needed to get mid push. And then I guess Kha'Zix is just one-shotting Azir in the backline, so Azir can't play the game. So yeah, that was a pretty good pick, I guess.
Yeah.
And for some reason Zed ults me, and yeah, then Senna gets one shot, but Syndra and Mordekaiser and Kha'Zix are just one-shotting them in return. And then yeah, we kind of win by, I think, our 3 champions being imbalanced.
Yeah,
and then we also got Aphelios flash, so the next fight was even easier.
Yeah, I was about to say Aphelios not having his flash was bummer, I guess, here for Rogue. But I mean, Hakuna Matatas aside and everything, how are you, Mickey? I mean, we heard Grabs last week mentioning the fact that you didn't get the best practice possible, maybe, but how have things been this week, especially?
I mean, this week of practice was, I think, not bad. I think we were doing fine. We were just, well, I guess we weren't practicing that much before this week. This week was the most we had, and it was only like 3 days because, well, we got cancelled 1 game. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully next week will be better. We'll actually get to play more games, test more drafts, because we were kind of linear in our approach for this week. We were kind of playing a lot of the same champions, so there was a risk of getting like banned out. But yeah, overall, it's been going all right.
Yeah.
We are still very hopeful that we can make playoffs. Like, we only need like 1 or 2 wins to be same wins as like 3rd place. So it's not that dire yet.
You know, something that I've been really happy to see is the support from fans, even through all this. So is there anything you would like to say to them today?
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate everyone that is like not losing hope fast, because I do like visit the subreddit and read Twitter, and there was a lot of supportive messages, which I do appreciate, because compared to other teams, usually the other teams just get flamed, but everyone's been very supportive, so I appreciate that.
Well, and you guys are trying, and I hope you guys will get to see the light at the end of the tunnel soon enough. Good luck to make playoffs, actually, and thank you for the interview, Mickey. And we're going to take one last break, and we'll come back in a few minutes with PGL with Cajol. Stay tuned.